On this edition of Check 6 Aviation, oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Damn it, I did it again. Oops. Welcome back to Check 6 Aviation, my friend, where I am seemingly constantly not following directions. This is getting costly. So I'm trying to get through Section 9 and build my elevators. Yeah, that's not going well. At least not for me. I know other builders have had issues with Section 9. You know, there's several gotchas in this section alone, especially if you're not paying attention to the plans, whereas I have not been, honestly. So, because, let's face it, I believe I mentioned this in the previous video of Where's Raymond? If you haven't seen it, it's like right up there. The link for it is, at least. Yeah, so I think I've been just focused on putting things together the way that I think they should go and not following the plans. I think that a major contributor to that is the fact that my kit is final sized holes, and you know, the plans were printed before vans went to final size holes, and so there's a lot of match drilling still in the instructions. Match drilling is not a bad idea, but you know, it saves time if you don't have to do it. And well, I haven't had to do any of match drilling so far. This is not, or at least not any match drilling on the holes that have already been there. But with that said, I did find out that Vans has recently updated their shipping policy, which is good news for me because each elevator is $500 just for the parts. That's not including shipping. But, so that shipping policy that comes into play is any orders under $200, and I'm going to guess that that is before taxes. They're charging a flat rate of $15 no matter where it's going in the country. But if you order more than $200, they're going to pick up the tab for the shipping. I wish they had gone this route when I had my rear spar for my horizontal stabilizer. But actually, no, because that was not, the part alone was not $200. It was like $70, $80 or something like that, and they still wanted to charge me $900 for shipping, almost. But yeah, thankfully though, I can order 4 skins. That sounds kind of adolescent. I can order 4 more of these, and that'll easily total up to, you know, $200, and then just do everything in batches as I can afford it. So when there's a will, there's a way. What's the oops specifically this time? Well, the plans call for the elevator ribs to be back riveted on a certain way, and well, I got them backwards. At least, yeah. Here, there's a picture right there, or right there. Either way, there's a picture of the plans, and yeah, I have this skin here, which has this is for the this is the passenger side elevator. The skins, by the way, they can be for either side. Just one top skin, one bottom skin. What makes it for right or left is which way you bend this piece right here. So yeah, I had already decided that this was going to be a certain direction, and actually, yeah. So, and as you can see, I've got the short ribs here when I really needed the other ones pictured here, right there. So what do you do when you come to a juncture like this? Well, you just keep building, which is exactly what I've chosen to do. So in the meantime, no elevators. This plane is not going to go up at all for the moment. We're on to section 10. We're on to building the tail cone.
Very exciting time.
Yeah! So let's get to it. So I've got some packages in, as you can see. This is the top and bottom elevator skins, both sides, from Vans, as well as some aluminum angle. And I also got something from Cleveland Tool. I found out that the rivet checker that you see here, you don't want to put the rivet in the hole and then back rivet it, because what will happen is it will split right at the weakest point right here. So new rivet checker, and also this is going to be a game changer, where every time I have to change squeezer, to adjust the squeezer, the pneumatic squeezer here, this is going to give me the correct gaps for the squeezer, for the rivet that I'm trying to squeeze. So let's go ahead and start cutting into this. Get these skins out. We'll go ahead and do a quick couple steps in section 9, put them aside, and then get back to building the tail cone in section 10. All of this will be used to start fires in the fire pit. Now, fall. This is being recorded on the longest day of the year, June 20th. So for those of you who celebrate stuff like this, happy solstice, I guess. Here we go. Top and bottom skin. There should be angle in here. Yes, there is, right here. Because I was not quite happy with the way that one of the parts that I had to fabricate for section 10 came out. It came out a little bit shorter than the plans called for, and I didn't have enough angle iron, or not angle iron, but angle aluminum to redo it. So here we go. I can kind of understand what you might be thinking, or at least I'd like to think I can. You might be thinking or saying to yourself, hey Raymond, why don't you just drill out the rivets for the ribs and reuse those? Well, because the answer is not as simple as that. You see, if you look into the last video, I had used tank sealant, Pro Seal, as kind of an adhesive, in addition to riveting the ribs to the skins. So, yes, I could probably go through the whole process of using MEK or acetone to dissolve the Pro Seal, but that would just be a complete and total nightmare to do. So instead, we're just going to order more parts. This is going to be a little bit more expensive of a project than I had additionally wanted to have, but hey, it's going to be worth it. The outcome of everything is going to be so worth it because, well, it'll be mine and it'll be paid for, and it will be a something that I can be proud of. I'll know every rivet. And speaking of rivets, I am now writing on each of the skins, to at least the bottom skins, to say, hey, dummy, yeah, short ribs here on this one, tall ribs on the other one. And I'm going to actually do the same thing on the top skins as well. So here we go. I'm actually reusing the doublers here. Where these holes here are for the adjustments for the trim tabs, and so I was going to order more of these, but I'm like, okay, I know they're not that much. They're like maybe $15-20 ish, somewhere around there, per piece. I'd have to check the Vans price catalog again, the store online, but they're not that much. But when you consider the amount that I would have normally have had to spend for shipping, which I'm just including a bunch of parts for, to increase that total of above $200, so that Vans takes care of the shipping, then anyway. I'm trying to back rivet all of the rivets, but get as many rivets into place here. And here I found that using the hand seamer as opposed to the prescribed method that's called for in the plans with double-sided tape actually produces a really good outcome. I like I like doing that better than trying to craft a block and hope it stays in place and hope you've got it clamped tight enough. I'm able to get a 90-degree bend every single time using this method. And here I am actually these are areas that I should have masked off but didn't, so these are going to be for the ribs in aft of the forward spar. That strip of unprimed area that is nearest to my body right now is actually for the trailing edge wedge, which will be in the next kit order, or at least the last one. So I have to remove some of the primer there. They are 3/4 inch in width, and we'll be using the Pro Seal there as well. The one thing about placement of this that ensures that these are where they need to be is that the markings, the measurements are from the edge all the way over on the right, and that's consistent with all of the skins. And here we are, jumping into some of the steps for section 10, the tail cone. This is where I have to drill, to enlarge a hole, step drill, up to a 5/8 inch on each side of the aft bulkhead. The two tabs that stick up are for the I want to say for the vertical stabilizer attachment. I'd have to look at the plans, but yeah, we're definitely in section 10 right now, and we will be for the remainder of this video. So yeah. Alright, so looking at the plans, we're working on step 3, I believe, of no, let's see here. We're on page 10-3, and we are working on step 5 right there of the rudder cable angle. So looking at, I had to go ahead and make this from 3/4 inch angle aluminum, and this is where the rudder cables will attach to. The pieces that are sticking up that are primed are actually where the rudder and the vertical stabilizer will attach to. The rudder is actually going to hang directly off of the vertical stabilizer via hinges, of course. But the rudder cables will go through the 5/8 inch diameter holes that I upsized, making sure that I've got all of the holes lined up and the same line. I figured that the best way to do that was to get 2 of the holes drilled and just go ahead and do the rest of the other 2. There's 4 holes total for this. I believe I ended up redoing this, or I think I want to redo this. Well, crap. That didn't go as planned. I've got 1 hole that is pretty much dead center, right on where it's supposed to be, and then the other hole, it's off. Probably won't be a big deal, but I don't know. I think I'm probably going to cut another piece of angle and maybe order another one from Vans. With the order for the rest of the parts that I need, so that I have more of this when the time comes. I've got enough to make another one. So shoot, maybe I'll take a picture and see what the community says. So I took a picture and submitted it up to the Facebook group, for the Vans Aircraft Builders Forum, Builders Group, and they said, well, since it's for the rudder cable attachment, it's not structural, it's not that big of a deal. So I think we're good to go there. However, what I did do, I made sure that I didn't repeat the same error in the horizontal stabilizer attachment bracket that is made later. I actually cleaned up the workshop and found my punch that you just saw me using for the rest of drilling out the rest of the rivets here, or at least the other two. Yeah, that made a big deal, because that's why you saw me using the hand-operated countersink before, is because I didn't know where my punch was. Well, yeah, shop cleanliness has not been a strong suit. And my wife will be the first one to tell you that that is definitely true. I mean, she's always complaining, about how dusty, dirty it is. But yeah, just a quick look through the plans here. I am currently on, back on 10.3. And countersinking those the holes on either side, because they will want to. I'm like, wait a minute, why countersink? Well, if you really think it through, it's because, well, you don't want to have anything binding up and potentially catching on those cables. Control cables are very important for maintaining directional control of your aircraft. So yeah. 10.3, now we're on to page 10-4, and we're making the horizontal stabilizer attachment angle there, and that was where I was a little confused with what they were trying to show in the plans, with because they wanted you to cut 5/30 seconds off of each side of a angle that is cut to 10 3/4 inches in width at the widest part. So this was actually shot a little bit out of sequence than what I'm showing it in this video. I had not received the shipment for the new skins at this time in the recording process, and had not yet reached out to Vans and said, hey, I'm at this step and I'm making the horizontal stabilizer attachment angle, and I'm not quite understanding the drawings here. What do I need to do? And then they said, well, the key was that, hey, the tail cone at this point is at an angle, and by cutting off 5/30 seconds from each side, you're leaving room for the skins to set in, and also for the angle. So here, actually, no, I had, now that I see this happening, I had actually received the updated, and I've got the 10 3/4 inch. Actually, I cut a little bit longer than I needed to, because I knew that I would lose a little bit in the deburring process. So I went ahead and cut about maybe an eighth of an inch off. And here's the before, when everything is just completely square. And then here is where I have each side on the straight edge cut down to 5/30 seconds. And then on this side here, I will go ahead and trace out the angle for the skins, because that is definitely at an angle. And then what I did, instead of using the bandsaw, is I wanted to make sure that this was 10 3/4 in width before I started. Measured twice, cut once, and everything was good to go. Get that tail cone angle just right. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so this is round 2 of making this part, and it has come out a lot better. It is still 10 3/4 in width at the widest part. The original one came out, this is the original one for F10 1010 Alpha. It came out noticeably shorter, about an 1/8 of an inch shorter than what actually more like a 1/16 of an inch shorter. I didn't want to do anything substandard, so we ordered more angle, aluminum, and did it over again, and I am much happier with the result. So as you saw, the plans called for cutting off a 10 3/4 inch piece. I went a little bit longer than that because I knew I would lose some when it came down to deburring, and I still have a little bit of deburring left to do on this. I'll do that with the angle air grinder. With this piece, this bad boy here. Don't need to show that, but that is the deal here. So this is now the new F1010 Alpha. Alright, we're working right now with the F1010C on page 10-4, step 2. A quick removal of the protective vinyl. And the first step after that is to split these two pieces apart, which I will end up doing on the bandsaw. Don't have a camera angle for the bandsaw right now, but we'll do one here soon that will suffice. A quick show and tell, because that is the game that we play here at Check 6 Aviation. Page 10-4, step 2, complete. Separated the bulkhead doublers into left and right, and we will remove these areas with the headlight through the deburring process. So I'm testing out this brand new mic that I just got off Amazon, and I'm liking what I'm hearing so far, but it's not about me, it's about you, the viewer. So how do I sound? Does it sound better than my previous videos where it was kind of just using a gaming headset? Let me know in the comments down below. I love to engage with you guys. All right, here we go. We are on page 10-4 still, step 4, where we have to position the horizontal stabilizer attachment angle on the front side of the F1010 bulkhead as shown in figure 3. And then we have to center the angle between the side flanges of the bulkhead, place the top flange of the angle at a height of 1/8 inch above the top edge of the bulkhead as shown in the blow-up of figure 3, which I will show right here. So I've got both ends of the angle of the attachment angle in place at 1/8 of an inch as described. And I've got all of the attachment holes drilled. Of course, deburring is necessary and making sure that there are no square corners. All right, so we've got section 9 and also section 10 in this video. I think that's a wrap for this video. Until next time, my friends, next time it looks like we're going to get to actually start putting together some of the structural pieces for the tail cone, and we'll focus completely on the tail cone unless I get more parts for the elevators to get further along in section 9. If that happens, it'll be another combined video just like this one is. So with that, keep the blue sky. Well, no, that's I can't use Kelsey's line from 7-4 gear. Anyway, stay safe. Make sure you keep all 10 fingers. Well, 8 fingers and 2 thumbs this 4th of July. I hope you did, at least. I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Go America. And yeah, so with any, regardless of where you stand on that, that's all I'll get to. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell and set it to show all. That way you don't miss any content that I post. And if you want to see content that is created in real time, head over to my Instagram feed. It is right up there, or maybe even there. It's right up there. Anyway, and if you really want to support this channel, please consider becoming part of our flight crew or ground crew or cabin crew on Patreon. With that, always check your sex. Peace.